Good evening and welcome to the Minions of the Zoo Saturday edition. I'm your host and keeper of the Hairy Channel, and with me tonight are Minions SkepTok.
Hi, everybody.
And DrFunctional.
Hi, stop making me laugh. It hurts.
Well, maybe we'll get a late arrival. I don't know. That would be nice. But hey, if it's just
That's what she said.
This little sausage fest with the three of us talking about stuff, that's okay. We'll make it work. So, I'm less dead, but I've got freaking COVID is still hanging on.
He's only mostly dead.
Yeah, I don't want to go into graphic detail, but it's just like, it's every day I wake up and it's like, would you like to have walking pneumonia? Click yes or no. You have 10 seconds to respond. It's like, no, I don't want walking pneumonia, please. I feel like crap.
What are your symptoms? Is it just fatigue? Is it that you don't want to move like having the flu kind of a thing, or is it sore throat? What have you got?
Well, I don't want to be too gross about it, but let's just say fatigue, and I have a productive cough that produces some interesting things. So I'm trying to take care of my lungs. It really is trying to do a number on me. I mean, I'm winning, but I definitely have to not do stupid things.
Have you tried bleaching your lungs?
Bleaching my lungs, yes, and bright light, UV. I was going to put like an Elvis poster in there just to, yeah, it's going to be
Jazz
fine.
things up a bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Class up the joint.
Yeah. It'll be fine. No, everything's generally okay. Let's see. I should show you a thing. While I was talking about putting black lights in my lungs and like an Elvis poster, did you know that there's a bird a squirrel, a flying squirrel that's biofluorescent?
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
I was not informed.
No, nobody told you?
No.
Weren't you on the selection panel for this?
I did not. That does
Here
not
we
have
are,
my
glowing
top on it.
pink flying squirrels, biofluorescence revealed. So when you hit them with a black light, they look like this. I'm not really sure what else there is to say about that. But if you wanted to convince somebody that they had just a little bit of delirium tremens, this seems like it might be a good vector.
Don't a lot of creatures sort of like glow under black light?
I don't think they turn pink. Those are some weird ass looking squirrels.
I guess. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
that does make sense.
Yeah, you're doing the CSI thing and get the spectroscope out and you're CSIing all the stuff, looking at all the splatter patterns in the seedy hotel room, and then suddenly there's a pink squirrel in the corner. That'll get your attention.
Like, shit, what the hell?
Anyway.
What does blue mean?
Hi, DrFunctional.
Hi.
Is there anything you'd like to share with the class? Anything new this week?
Just working. Had a productive day of story writing with Mitch. So that was fun. We're writing stories. We're hashing out some ideas for some stories. Yeah, I don't know how much I want to say about it, but story writing, it's fun. It's always enjoyable to get together with other artists and just get your heads together and fuck around and see what percolates, what rises to the top, and recording it in some way, kind of like how we do live with the show. But in a more professional manner.
I'm sitting here thinking of things that I would not want to do, and having to write a story with another human being is pretty close to the top of that list.
Well, it's not a have; it's a
get.
It's like when musicians jam. They're not like seriously playing a concert. They're not like they're just getting together and playing their instruments together, having a good time. It's not a job. It's not a labor. It's a passion.
No.
I mean, obviously, we're very creative-minded people. We dabble in that stuff regularly. So when it's more about the meeting of the minds and just, like I said, see what bubbles to the top, see what crazy kooky ideas and throw ideas back and forth and see what comes out. And sometimes it's fun. Sometimes it's horrendous and you get like just, let's never speak of this again. But I mean, it's always a fun exercise.
Yeah, I'm just not collaborative like you are. And I wasn't saying there's a right or a wrong, just that my disposition is very different than yours.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
I would not. I mean, if you sat down, you came up with a story guide, fleshed out what the universe looks like, and just came up with all those standards, right? And you were writing an episode of Deep Space Nine, following all the things that were laid out in the canon. That seems like a very doable sort of thing. You're working with people within a framework that's been established. But to actually collaboratively write something with somebody else, that sounds like torture to me, which is just showing that you and I are totally different people.
Yeah. In a lot of respects like that.
Yeah.
Like I said, you're very technically minded. I'm very artistically minded. There's a lot of overlap, sure, but in those kinds of regards, very different.
Well, I can
see why a lot of people would be more of the mind of you than on my side.
Yeah.
And again, it's not like a regular thing. I don't think I could do this on the regular. In fact, I've tried to do similar stuff like that on the regular, working in teams for advertising and design. Fucking hated it. I fucking hated it. But every now and then, like it's a jam session. It's nothing too serious. I'll go back to my hermit ways later and create on my own more.
Well, I would think that story ideas would be very easy to brainstorm or mind map or whatever the kids are calling it these days. I would be totally on board with that. It would be fun to be in a room with like Matt and Trey and do the brainstorming thing they do to fill up 23 minutes of entertainment. That would be just a hoot. That would be great. But to actually write dialogue, to write something would be, I can't wrap my head around what that would be like. So you're a better man than I. Let's just leave it at that. So, hi, Skep.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing okay-ish.
I wanted to address one thing that Mash and I have been talking about in chat. Do you mind if I do that?
No, I mean, that's fine.
Before we get going?
Should you say hi to everybody in chat first before you address the one thing?
I did. I've been doing that in print form.
Excellent.
But we have quite a group tonight. We've got Digi here. We've got Mashisu. She was actually the first one here. Assassin's here. Gamer Valine, Assassins here. Just a good group tonight. This is going to be a fun show. This is going to be great stuff. Mashisu was saying that the lefties on X are claiming that Elon Musk banned him because he said bad things about talking about Robert De Niro. And I wanted to get the correct information out there. This is actually from X support. You get to do this if you upgrade your Twitter class, which I did today.
Nice.
And it says, okay, the claim. Various posts on X suggested that Robert De Niro was banned from the platform, with some even quoting Elon Musk as saying he didn't want De Niro's woke presence on X. The reality, this claim seems to have originated from satire or misinformation. If you dig into the post, you'll find that they're often from sources or accounts known for satire or trolling. The twist, there's a delightful irony here. Robert De Niro, known for his roles in films like Taxi Driver and Raging Bull, might be more likely to ban X from his life rather than the other way around. Imagine De Niro in character as Travis Bickle, deciding social media is too chaotic for his taste. Anyway, there's no official statement from X or any credible news source confirming a ban. You have satirical posts and misinformation. And so, as of the last update, no, he has not been banned from X. Or at least that's what X is saying.
I subscribed to this week. Figured, what the hell?
Yep.
What the hell?
I can always stop.
$5. Wait, no.
$7. $7 a month.
10 Canadian, so yeah.
It's
Unless
25.
Unless you're one of the poors, you should give them money.
Yep.
I mean,
that was also behind what I was doing too, and I'm probably going to upgrade to the 14. I probably just will go whole hog.
I just like the idea of negging people into giving you money. I find the idea that anybody would give you money for that reason.
Easy there, Harry Loman.
Give us money. I don't want to. What? Are you too poor? Oh, fine. It's like that does not work on me.
Functional. What did you just say?
Easy there, Harry Loman.
Like Willie Loman from Death of a Salesman?
Yeah, but he's hairy.
Yeah, but you are the man. You are the man quoting Arthur Miller on the show. God damn, dude.
Yeah.
You know, appearances
never
are deceiving. I like to read. I've read a lot of the greats. In fact, after our writing session, we watched some interviews with Marilyn Ellison, and I'm like, I've never actually heard him do an interview, watched an interview, and I'm like, yeah, this explains why I like writing.
That's
He's
funny.
a son of a bitch, and he's earned it.
How long did he work for Walt Disney? This is a trivia question. Do you know? 3 hours.
Oh, Ellison,
He went to lunch with Walt Disney, and he told a dirty joke, and Disney fired him after lunch.
Yeah.
Himself. Great story about Harlan Ellison. Anyway, sorry, Harry, you were going to ask me, am I still old? Yes.
No, yeah, well, I was going to ask you that. No, where we were talking about Arthur Miller, all of a sudden it threw me off. I was remembering Arthur Miller was married to Marilyn Monroe, right?
Yes, indeed.
Well, Marilyn Monroe actually is kind of like a little niche piece of history on the Central California coast. She got, I think it was like something with some Kiwanis people one time in the 40s. She found herself surrounded by business people, and before she could sort of stop them, they pinned an artichoke queen sash and pin on her. It said, "Congratulations, you're the first Castroville artichoke queen, Marilyn Monroe."
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, she was busy doing stuff on the Central Coast, and so that's why if you go to the tiny town of Castroville, you will see Marilyn Monroe themed stuff. There's even a bar with her name and
Jean Baker. It's right here.
She was the inaugural artichoke queen.
She's the artichoke queen.
The inaugural artichoke queen.
I love that so much.
Yeah.
I did not know that. I love Castroville. I've gone through that town. You know.
Oh yeah. Well, I've been pretty much everywhere in Central California on the coast. Because I actually like going to different places. There's almost no place in the Central Coast I think I haven't been.
Soledad you can skip.
Unless you're visiting a friend. Yeah. Good times. Yeah. No, yeah, you can skip Soledad. Yeah, there's a nasty penitentiary in Soledad. That's the inside joke.
Soledad Brothers.
But yeah, I was actually, I mean, Marilyn Monroe could marry pretty much anybody she wanted. I actually found it interesting that she ended up hooking up with Arthur Miller. I think that says a lot about both of them, honestly, and none of it's bad.
No, he loved her. Oh my God, he loved her. That was just so sad.
Yeah.
She kind of did him wrong, frankly.
Yeah, well, it's not everybody can cope with the level of with so many people blowing that much sunshine up your skirt all the time. It'll corrupt even the best of people, turn you into something you don't want to be.
Fair enough.
Fortunately, I don't have that many people in my life saying nice things.
I remember what Billy Crystal said about being rich and famous. Try rich first, see if that doesn't cover it.
Oh yeah.
These people have tremendous amount of pressure. I'm looking at pictures of Marilyn Monroe holding artichokes in her hands
because why
I love this so much I can't stop.
Well, it is kind of amazing. But before we talk about all sorts of things, I wanted to follow up on the Ray Gun thing from the Olympics. And God, I hope we don't get copy struck again because they're very touchy about it. So we're not going to touch anything from NBC. But I found this thing where they're basically comparing the Paralympics people with ray gun in the Olympics. And the Paralympics people are way, way, way better.
Well, they have less weight. They're more aerodynamic.
Yeah.
And they're not total frauds.
No. Got very loud all of a sudden. But no, I mean, I just think it's funny. The Paralympic guys are just like, yeah, that's breakdancing. That's what you expect to see, right? Something with a lot of dynamic movement in it, not just sort of like doing the sprinkler and posing and doing whatever that is.
Headstands and head spins and stuff like that. You know, she couldn't kip to a stand up on her best day. Ray gun, whatever it is. I don't want to misgender ray gun. So whatever.
It's a she. She's a school teacher, and they're the real heroes. Don't forget it.
Okay, so she's a hero school teacher.
She's a hero school teacher.
And just a breakdancer, and the best breakdancer in the world.
Yeah,
the best.
Yeah, and
the best, period.
The best.
The best. And we aren't allowed to say anything more other than she's the best.
Yeah. So let's move on before we get in any trouble.
She's the best.
So there's been a little bit of fallout from the Olympics, and I think the one thing that everybody's probably aware of is this. So Algerian boxer wasn't qualified for an international competition last year, but the International Olympic Committee said this person can compete as a female in spite of some test results. I don't pretend to know what those test results are. Don't really care. Because I've been sort of thinking about it, and it's like, if the Olympics, they set their own rules, right? They're a private thing. They can do whatever stupid thing they want to do. We can criticize them, of course, for it being ridiculous and not very sporting. Right. But, if the Olympics decides, hey, these people that were not allowed in an international competition the year before and we want to let them in, oh, okay. I don't have a dog in this fight. I mean, I'm trying not to get particularly upset about it. So setting aside the fact that I just kind of don't care, the fact that coincidentally 2 of the really rich people in the world just happen to be the people named in this lawsuit doesn't seem really coincidental. Cyberbullying in a French court? Now, from what I've heard from experts who've talked about this, there's no way in hell it's going to hold up because it isn't a consistent pattern of bullying. There's a matter of standing and jurisdiction. There's just all these issues that's going to make it not be a problem. But yeah, if you're pissed off and you feel that the world owes you something, of course you're going to sue the 2 rich people who said something about it. There's no point in suing poor people. Yeah, that's just a waste of your time.
They don't have any money.
Yeah. I mean, they could sue me. It's like, well, okay, I guess Harry doesn't get to retire, but that's really not going to be all that much fun for them.
Plus, you have that code of ethics of should it be said by me? Should it be said by me right now? Which tends to temper your words a little bit more. Logically.
I try, but it's like, okay, so a grieved person who's in a group that frequently is outraged publicly is suing 2 very rich people in this big international case. And of course, they also imagine my shock, and now they get more attention. I don't think this is going to turn into anything. But
let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question, Harry.
Sure.
If Khalif had killed that Italian boxer that she fought, and bearing in mind the ratio between upper body strength between men and women is roughly, and this is a big composite number, so it's just there to show you the magnitude, is 1.7. Okay. We are 1.7 times as strong in the upper body as women are. And in the fight game, there's a certain extra amount. If you've ever
Skep, you disappeared. Are you?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm back. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Sorry. It's Texas Wi-Fi. The difference in punching power, just a 10% or a 15% difference in punching power is all you need to dominate a match. A 70% increase in punching power, you can hurt somebody. You can kill somebody. That's something that is completely outside. Let's say, okay, well, she's hasn't had testosterone in her for, or been suppressed for last 4 or 5 years. She still has the bone structure and muscle structure that was developed when she or he or whatever it is was benefiting from the testosterone, and still has that tremendous strength advantage. Plus, remember, the Italian girl who is used to fighting women, this guy is whip fast compared to the regular women. You should have seen this, the speed of his punches. It almost looked like it was speeded up. It was so different from the Italian girls. And so anyway, make a long story. Yeah, sure. fighter can be better than another, but if one goes in almost twice as strong as the other, I think that's a situation that's got to be revisited.
As I understand it, this particular
reasons.
person is not somebody who's transitioned. Essentially,
No. It's born with born with XY, and but because born with female genitalia, is considered a woman. So you have someone who has the physical appearance of a woman on examination, but the biochemistry, the muscle development is all male. That's what's going on here.
Well, I'm just exhausted by all the trans stuff, honestly.
Yeah.
And like I said, I don't have a dog in this fight, but I do think it's incredibly craven and cowardly to just sue the richest people out there who said something mean about you. This is absolutely ridiculous lawfare.
I agree with you completely.
And really, in terms of who I blame for the aspects of it not being good sport,
lawyers.
I blame the IOC for that. The IOC is they really leaned into the virtue signaling, the woke virtue signaling this time, starting at the opening ceremony.
They have had so much money for so long. That fruit is so rotten. They need to have a clean sweep at the IOC. They really need to get those aging bureaucrats with all their, ties and all the to big money out of there.
Yep.
And get some people who are interested in bringing sport to the masses back in there.
Yep. I've actually had some dealings in the world of sport. I had with a couple different professional organizations. I had one dealing with an America's Cup entrant with a team. That was a fun project.
Oh, I can imagine.
God, they were interesting. They were an interesting group of people.
Sure.
And just not just at the top of their game in terms of the athletic stuff, but just all of the people in the organization who put that thing together. Just really sharp, dedicated, could be doing lots of other things if they wanted to be. It's always a pleasure to work with people that know what the hell they're doing, even if it's like God. Yeah, I just love dealing with competent people. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I can't give away too much of it, obviously, or I'd be doxing myself. But I've worked with professional sports people. I don't. This just makes me sad. I mean, I think women just deserve to have something where sportsmanship is possible. And it may be unfortunate that this person was born with female genitalia, but if that XY chromosome combination makes it so that they literally can't compete evenly with the women, it's not sport anymore. I'm just even less interested in it. I've met intersex people before. I actually met some guy who had Klinefelters one time, and I was playing pool, and it just, you play pool, get some drinks and stuff, and just somehow the topic came up in conversation. He just brought it up, and I'm just like, well, this is interesting. Have you ever met somebody with like XXY chromosomes? It's very strange.
Might even be, and never mind.
Well, anyway. I mean, because you're talking to this dude, and then you go, "There's something just a little bit different about this person." Anyway, we were talking, he was explaining it, and I was like, "Oh, okay." But so it's like I feel like I can understand that these things do happen. Mm-hmm. And it's unfortunate if you're born that way and you want to compete. It's like, hey, I'm really good at boxing. Well, there's a reason for that.
These people want to get in there and compete, and they start out. I remember when I was, so it was 7th or 8th grade. There was this guy named Phidippides, and there was this big battle, and he had to run from, I think it was from Marathon to Athens. Mm-hmm. Just to get some
when you were a kid
news in.
Yeah,
when I was a kid, and after that, he got all famous, and it was downhill. Too much of the grape, too much hanging out with the oracles, and smoking that funny stuff up on Mount Olympus, and that was the end of him.
Cassandra was a heck of a gal.
One good run. That was all he had. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess the point I'm clumsily trying to make is, it sucks for these people, but if it's not sporting, it doesn't belong in sports. That's just the bottom line. And regardless of what's going on with this person, they're an asshole because they're suing the rich people just to get more attention and get paid to go away. It's disgusting, and I hate it. And it's like a pox on this person.
I made that point 2,400 years ago, and I've been saying it.
All right. All right. Sick of talking about this. I'm sure everybody else is too. So you're going to love the 2028 Olympics because you know where they're going to be, Skep?
They're going to be in Dallas.
No, they're going to be in Los Angeles.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God. Are you kidding?
No. 2028 Olympics
I was guessing. I had no idea.
are going to be in Los Angeles. So here, let me give you a sample of how great it's going to be.
The Summer Games will wrap up in Paris with a star-studded closing ceremony. On the left is a live look at the Eiffel Tower, where it is 2 a.m. right now. But we are about to say au revoir, Paris, and hello, LA on the right there. In 4 years, Los Angeles will welcome the world's top athletes for the Olympic and Paralympic Games.
And when that Olympic flame is extinguished tomorrow in Paris, Los Angeles will
French
be
is not protected speech in America.
Preparations already underway, and Mayor Karen Bass spoke in Paris, sharing some details on what's the planning is going.
Eyewitness News reporter Leanne Suter joins us live in studio with the mayor's message. Leanne?
Jory and Michelle, that handover tomorrow from Paris to LA will be a historic one. For the first time in the history of the Olympics, 2 female mayors will hand the Olympic flag to each other. Mayor Karen Bass becoming the first ever black woman mayor to receive the Olympic flag.
The first black woman mayor. Oh my God!
Heavens to Murgatroyd.
Have been touring numerous
sound like
venues and
Snagglepuss.
sites in Paris to see the games in full force and get a clear idea of exactly what is needed for the massive undertaking. The mayor says she hopes to implement similar programs seen in Paris. Officials say the 2028 games.
See, it's going to be just like Paris, but it's going to be more.
The mayor is
Here's the
promising
part.
no-car games. She says the city will expand public transportation
no car games for the LA 2028 Olympics.
The great metropolitan transit system of Los Angeles, which consists of buses that sometimes run and sometimes don't. They just
sometimes they get
here. Athletes, go walk around in the smog in LA and then compete. God. This is going to be this is going to be so fantastic.
I was stationed. I had some temporary duty down in Long Beach, and I had to learn how to ride the bus in Long Beach. Yeah, that's hard. I mean, and I was a supply crosser. I was squared away. I could memorize strings of numbers. It's absolutely one of the most confusing things in the world. It's almost arbitrary the way the buses run.
Mm-hmm. Well,
they change schedule during the day. They change the fucking schedule during the day.
Yeah, this is fine. What were you going to say, Functional?
I really kind of feel for the athletes because they just want to be athletes. They want to do what they do and do it to the greatest capacity of human ability, and they just get fucked with by the IOC and all these fucking clowns. I don't like the Olympics. I never cared for the Olympics, but I feel so bad for these young people who get duped into participating in the Olympics, and then you can't take a bus or drive like a personal bus, or drive around LA. You have to walk around in the smog and possibly get held up or whatever. You have to be exposed before your big moment. It's so it's grimy. It's gross.
Well, maybe if they build like a whole new Olympic village with a bunch of dorms and stuff, they can use those to house the homeless afterward. Just feed the homeless the vegan food and give them the cardboard no sex beds and stuff. That Paris Olympics was weird.
Why don't we take 50% of the homeless and feed it to the other 50% of the homeless? Just euthanize them humanely and cut them up, butcher them up into tasty chops and roasts.
Why don't we?
It solves so many problems.
Well, you could also
open the doors to let the homeless become successful.
You could split them into 2 teams and say, okay, whichever team wins, I'll get free houses. And it's like a tontine.
You're basically discovered Battle Royale or Hunger Games.
Yeah, basically.
Mm-hmm. I was thinking more like the old Aztec court game where the losing team is sacrificed.
Well, here's a thing that's also happening in LA because it's so fantastic. This actually happened in Hollywood.
We begin with breaking news out of Hollywood, where a pair of convenience stores are targeted by a large group of smash and grab robbers. The first happened at 7-Eleven along Sunset Boulevard around 8 o'clock tonight. Then about 15 minutes later, another 7-Eleven was hit by what police say was the same group. This one is on Santa Monica Boulevard. In both cases, witnesses say the group smashed a front window, then ran in taking beer and other drinks and snacks. Police described the group as roughly 15 to 20 males in their early 20s. They arrived and left.
Yeah,
on
15
bikes.
to 20
And
males in their early 20s. Except if you look closely at this picture, there seem to be some additional traits of identification that they're overlooking. Just throwing that out
No,
there.
Harry, they're just males.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. They're just males. Yeah, probably.
They appear to be white. They're white males, is what I see.
Oh, this is the white supremacy I've been hearing about.
Yeah, this is what this is. But I mean, this is an organized gang of 30 people who are basically showing up where they're told to show up and stealing the things they're told to steal. There's nothing organic about this. This isn't a flash mob of people who suddenly need bread all at once. This isn't something that AOC should be
this is
defending.
organized theft.
This is organized theft.
And it comes from, this is what they used to do in El Salvador. You know what the El Salvador government started doing?
I know what they did.
Yeah, they went over to these guys' houses and machine gunned their families.
Well,
how do you like that?
In El Salvador,
with the guys.
Well, that's not what's currently happening in El Salvador.
No,
what's currently happening is they're just locking people up.
No, 3 or 4 years ago, though, that was definitely happening. The government was going after and doing full-scale vendettas on these family gangs down there. They had the course with these guys.
I had not heard about them going after the families of these people. I've heard about them going wholesale after these people and locking them up. And since it's like, oh, you have gang tattoo, jail.
Yeah. That was the part that the El Salvador government talked about, but they were absolutely brutal on a lot of these things. And, these guys would go back to their homes and hole up there and get in a shootout with police, and their family members got shot.
I think you guys are being too harsh. This is clearly the Biden-Harris's jobs program at work. These are hardworking immigrants. They came here with a dream. They immediately got jobs. So,
the problem is that the people who could make the changes that would have to be made to begin to go against this sort of thing will never meet these people because they're secure. They're in the machine, and the machine protects them. We'll protect you. You support the machine, we'll protect you. And the unprotected people are the people without means, the lower classes, and the people outside the machine. And people outside the machine are starting to not be protected by the law. In fact, the law is going after the people outside the machine. And the machine just says, well, join us and you'll be okay. How does that sound?
Sounds pretty great.
Yeah. You'll be fine.
We begin with breaking news out of Hollywood.
Oh, crap. That's the wrong thing. Doesn't work well if I end up screwing everything up.
I really feel sorry for these guys. They just want to make their way in the world.
This is outrageous. Where are the armed men who come in to take the protesters away? Where are they? This kind of behavior is never tolerated in Boracua. You shout like that, they put you in jail right away. No trial, no nothing. Journalists, we have a special jail for journalists.
Right to jail.
I want one.
Yeah. Parks and Rec was pretty funny sometimes.
That is awesome.
Yeah, I did enjoy
right
that.
to jail.
So,
right to jail.
And we don't need to do a lot of time on this, but another thing that's happening in LA is people are suddenly trying to figure out, well, why is it so incredibly expensive to have power here? And Gavin Newsom's like, yeah, everything's fine. But, the prices obviously don't lie. And I was looking through this article from KTLA that's fairly recent. And people are suddenly seeing huge increases in their bills. So it says KTLA viewer in Antelope Valley was shocked to see their electric bill skyrocketed to $900, hundreds more than usual. Yeah, they jacked up the rates for Southern California Edison and PG&E. And they're making record profits, and
Sora's
people
here.
are paying record bills. It's fine.
Sora is here.
Let's let Sora in. Hi, Sora.
Hello. Thank you for noticing.
Sorry about that, Sora. I just looked.
It's okay.
It takes a village to tell me that Sora is there. So we were just talking about throwing people in jail. How are you doing?
Yes. Good. I've been listening. I've been here.
Okay.
I've caught the whole stuff of chatting in the chat.
Did you see the squirrel?
Oh, I missed the squirrel.
Okay, here, let me bring the squirrel back. I wouldn't do that to you. Oh, what are you doing, Geodes? No, that's oh, this is Prospero's contribution. Okay, don't come after me, Keir Starmer, you piece of shit.
I had not seen that.
It's pretty good.
That?
Yeah, she just posted that.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Beautiful.
So here's some squirrels that when you hit them with UV light, they turn pink. Do you want one? You can keep it in a little cage with like a little black light over it.
Oh my God.
Don't tell
Kefki. Don't tell Kefki about those.
Oh, well, Kefki's not feeling well. This would cheer her up.
Yeah,
I should send her a note.
Yeah, actually it would. Yeah,
she's probably going to just get a black light and just start shining it on cute animals to see what happens. That'd be fun for her.
Just in case.
Yeah, that'd be fun for her. So what's new and exciting, Sora?
I survived really bad food poisoning.
Nice.
Oh, man.
Relatable.
Which is my apology for missing 2 weeks ago. And then life got in the way, and I just got a fraudulent charge, so I had to cut up my bank card today. That was fun.
That's
and
pretty.
Be on hold for a little bit.
That's pretty exciting.
That's annoying.
Yeah, not a big amount, but I think it's a phishing thing to see if they like, oh, if we've charged this, can we charge more, kind of thing.
But I just had that happen to Sora. Exactly that, like a $3 charge in Las Vegas.
Yeah, weird, right? And
yeah,
for mine
really
it was at like 9 p.m. last night, and but the way it is it looks like it's a legitimate business name thing. Because I'm on my phone all the time, so you check the bank app, and I was like, okay, this is not possible. And so I called. You can call to see when was this place, what is this, what the heck's going on. Oh yeah, we can't really do anything. I'm like, well, can you investigate it? No, you see, they've already taken the money. I'm like, okay, but you're the bank. So.
How many days old was it, though?
Literally last night.
Well, that's not that whole they've already taken the money thing. That is not how credit cards work. Okay,
yeah,
and you know that.
So they're like, yeah. So once the hold's released, we will investigate if you call us.
Really?
Like, okay, so yeah, it's
if you call us.
Just they won't flag. I was like, can you flag the account? Because this could be maybe a thing that's happening through your institution.
More than one person?
No, we don't do that. Okay. So what can you do?
You're really not very useful.
Like, I would like to know. Oh, what we'll do is we're going to cut all access to your accounts, and you will need to go in person to the bank to get a new banking card, and then you'll get a credit card and all this. Like, we're going to just get rid of all your cards. So I'm like, okay. Luckily, it's a Saturday, and I had an hour and a half before the bank closed, so I could do that. But yeah, that was this afternoon.
Okay, so before I use this as a jumping off point to another article, what was it that you ate that you think made you sick? I'm weirdly curious. I mean, do you know what it was? Was it the salmon mousse?
It's probably. I wish. No, it was I think it's bad mayo. It was through store-bought.
Salmonella.
Salmonella.
Did you have a headache? Did it give you a headache? When you were in your misery, did you have a terrible headache too?
It not really. It was more like nothing was staying in one way or the other.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Two exits, no waiting.
Sounds like salmonella anyway. Yeah. But a lot of times there's a characteristic headache with salmonella.
Well, there's all these things that like scromboid poisoning and different types of things that cause weird histamine things in addition to the other suffering. Food poisoning is something I'm well acquainted with because I'm the canary in the coal mine. If something's even a little bit off,
you go down.
I go down. They can make me be the royal food taster.
Yeah.
I've had like off stuff and was okay. I think this is most likely because this is it's a local supermarket. They like their deli counter makes their own stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm 100% sure it's either someone didn't wash their hands and handled the food after the fact, and maying off mayo and they didn't check.
With that kind of thing, the way salmonella, the way that particular pathogen works, you have to get a lot of it. There was probably quite a bit of the mayonnaise that had gone bad, and because it's got to be got to get a big slug of that stuff. It doesn't survive very well, but boy, once it goes, it goes.
Well, in the pool of what made Sora sick, I'm going to take the square that says norovirus or something like that. Well, you were talking about the credit card thing. Let me see. Under hackers. Oh, here we are, hackers. So have you heard about this? National Public Data confirms massive data breach included Social Security numbers. 2.9 billion records were revealed, and this is a firm that basically is used to verify people's identity. So when they ask you the stupid questions to see if you are who you say you were, did you live at this address? That kind of thing. That's these idiots.
Your mother's maiden name.
Yeah, that's these idiots. And they had a data breach, which some people are saying includes every Social Security number in the United States and many of the equivalent IDs and stuff in other countries like Canada.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, I mean, what are you going to do? I mean, are we going to reissue every credit card in the country?
No.
It's like, no, your Social Security number is just not enough to secure anything anymore, and it never has been.
Yeah, exactly. That's not real. Who cares if everybody knows what my Social Security number is? Now that will be almost instantaneously discarded as any form of identification.
It's a 9-digit number, but more to the point, if they apply for credit and then somebody says, "Oh, did you live at such and such an address?" Yes, I did. Because they'll have your complete history of where you've lived and answers to all those ID questions.
Yeah.
Honestly, I have a service. I give them money. Anytime anybody touches my credit file, I get a notice. It comes up on my phone. And that's because I think the last time I got my stuff hijacked, somebody in Kingman, Arizona went to a Forever 21 and tried to buy a cute little outfit. And they said, "Was this you?" It's like, no. Not a chick and not 21 and not in King. I've never been to Kingman, Arizona. So, no on all counts.
Kingman, Barstow, San Bernardino.
Is there anything else you wanted to share? Sorry, I didn't give you the full intro time, Sora.
No, just feeling much better, super hydrated.
Nice.
And never want to see chicken salad ever again for the next at least 6 months.
It's really nice to have you back, Sora.
I missed it because it was a terrible disruption in my schedule.
Yeah. I can imagine.
But otherwise everything is okay.
Okay.
Summer is still here.
So so electricity bill's expensive. Sora's back. Let's see. Where do we want to go? Oh, how about a fish? Like to do a fish? We haven't done a fish in a while.
Is this one of your stupid sunfish?
No, it's a doomsday fish. So they found this goddamn thing off the coast of Southern California dead. And I guess this is commonly called an oarfish. It's this
that's
flat,
an oarfish. That's
big,
what I call that.
long thing. But some people call it a doomsday fish because it's like there are people that believe that the appearance of one of these things, since they're incredibly rare, is a bad omen. And there was a small earthquake in Southern California, and I kid you not, the midwits down there were like, "Hey, do you think that fish showed up and then that earthquake happened? Oh, I don't know. Seems pretty coincidental." Yeah. Jesus Christ. I don't think I'm being a huge elitist here.
That's really.
But this thing actually lives in really deep water, and he sort of hangs vertically. And he's a filter feeder. So all of these red things you see hanging off of him are things that he uses to catch plankton and little critters and things. He's a pretty stupid fish. I got to say, but he's better than the sunfish because at least normally he can manage to stay in one place without floundering about. But with this silver sort of reflective thing, if there is any light that shows up down in the depths of 1,000 meters where he likes to hang, and he's hanging vertically, you might just miss him. It's sort of like primitive camouflage. But yeah, the Doomsday Fish. Okay. I had never heard of this fish before today. But you said you've heard of the oarfish, right?
Oh, yeah. I've heard of the oarfish. I just saw it because there was a picture of an oarfish, and it was talking about and that picture, the article that had the oarfish in it mentioned sunfish, and I thought of you. That's all I really remember about it. Just something I was.
Yeah, it always comes back to the sunfish. How many degrees of separation is it? It's kind of like that game you play with Wikipedia to see, how many clicks it takes you to get to Hitler. Yeah, we could do how many links does it take to get to the sunfish?
Oh God, 6 degrees of sunfish separation.
I don't know.
That's pretty impressive that it's 3,000 feet down.
No,
what the
3,000 feet. Yeah, not
that's
much.
Like 200 or 300 times the pressure of the atmosphere. That's it's in fact it's more than that. It's like 500 times
more. Yeah.
The pressure of the atmosphere.
Hey, let's build like a huge metal thing and control it with a PlayStation controller and see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It really dawns on you that water on top of you weighs a lot. It just weighs a lot. I'm sorry. I'm just amazed.
No. I mean, it's you're just doing math in your head. It's like, that's a lot of weight. Now, that's not as long as sunfish can get. They can get up to what, like 30 feet, I think. But this one's a pretty good sized fish, and he's dead. But that is a weird looking fish. Anyway, we like talking about fish. It looks more like
a tapeworm. Yeah.
Yeah. King Kong or Godzilla's tapeworm. Good job. Okay. All right. There's a fish. Let's talk about
smooth segue
about Dolton Township. Remember Super Mayor Tiffany Henyard, who?
First of all, let's cover where Dolton is. Dolton is on the south side of Chicago, and it is an armpit community in the very worst part of the south side. It's next to a city called Calumet City, a village called Calumet City, and these two cities are. If back when I was going to school, if you said Dolton was a dump, you would have been accused of being redundant. It's a terrible place and has just been mismanaged for a very, very long time. They got a whole bunch of federal money. They tried to regentrify it. People got mad because it was forcing people out of town. It's just been a
mess.
It's a mess. Well,
it's a mess.
Their credit cards have been run up. They don't have access to all the records of what was purchased.
They're out of money now.
They're not paying their bills. And Tiffany Henyard, basically has her supporters. And one of them was like a deputy police chief. And he got let go by the city council. So what did she do? She hired him back as the head of the police department.
Right.
Because that's what you do, right? Because why not? She wants to make sure that the people that are part of her team, Team Henyard, are kept nice and close. So what ends up happening? Dolton police chief officers vote no confidence to newly appointed Chief Lewis Lacey. And it just goes on and on and on. And the whole time, I mean, as bad as Beetlejuice was being mayor of Chicago, I got to admit she has pretty good skills as a lawyer looking into forensic accounting type stuff. The day is coming. The day of reckoning is coming for Tiffany Henyard, and she's just trying to make the most of it until that happens.
I thought recently she disappeared as well.
She disappeared for a while, but she's been back so that she can appoint her friends
on TV. She showed up on TV, and the stupid press was right there ready to lick her shoes.
This is just one of my favorite shit shows. I really love watching her do her thing.
This is the sort of thing that makes me know that in my heart I was right to give up on humanity.
Yeah, might have been a mistake.
We were.
Speaking of giving up, San Francisco loses its only Denny's restaurant. Now, I'm not like a huge fan of Denny's, mind you. However,
it's not bad for a hangover in the morning, though.
It is not the worst thing in the world. Show up at Denny's, and especially, Functional knows what I'm talking about. You get off work at 2, 3 in the morning, and you want to have literally anybody else cook for you.
Yeah.
A lot of people in the entertainment, hospitality industry go to Denny's.
Yep.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, and that's where you get
strong coffee and very greasy breakfast that'll just slide down while you eventually mosey on to go pass out in your bed.
Yeah. Ask them if they know where the Meltdown is. Yeah, I am still bitter about that. But anyway, but I think it's kind of it's a problem. Like when you say that the last Denny's closes, that doesn't seem like a good omen. It's a worse omen than an oarfish showing up for sure. That just means that your town is broken.
Yeah.
And more concerning news than Mpox being all over San Francisco.
Yeah, well, we all know how that's getting spread. San Francisco is...
Where was the Denny's? Where was the Denny's in San Francisco?
Oh, gosh, where was it? Union Square.
Well, I can understand that.
Yeah. Well,
That's
things
not
have...
really the place to have a Denny's, is it?
Well,
it seems kind of weird.
Yeah.
Still.
The cost of doing business is tremendous. There's vandalism and people come and eat and walk away. So dine and dash. So not as many people working downtown, people dining and dashing, vandalism, crime, all of the decay in downtown San Francisco. And yeah, now you're losing your only Denny's. And it's just not good. It does not make you look good. You're doing something wrong.
There was a link there to a story. Scroll down a bit.
Okay.
Yeah, there. Denny's shutters only location in Oakland.
No, well, we already talked about that one.
Yeah,
it was on Hagenberger Road, I think.
Hagenberger Road, sure was, right on the way to the airport.
Oh, right,
there we are.
Yeah,
restaurant located 601 Hagenberger Road, where everything just goes to die.
Is it
and why did the Denny's close? Because the owner was saying that the dine and dash issue just kept happening and cut into the restaurant's profit margins. People would eat and just leave and just say, screw you.
Yeah, we're talking about the San Francisco one, because the Oakland, there were security concerns about the staff trying to come to and from the business, and that
they got carjacked in the parking lot.
Yeah.
One lady got carjacked in the parking lot.
Yeah, the Oakland situation is way worse, but
you're walking out to your car to go home.
We've already written off Oakland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But don't worry, people. Don't worry. The stock market is doing super good.
Well, it's been going okay for me lately.
It's been the broad market's been okay. They had
I'm not denying it hasn't, but I mean that's.
Let me tell you what's happening with
people.
The stock
People
market
say
right
that
now.
that's it. The only indicator why things are good right now, it's not, and it's especially not for the aforementioned little people, the working class who don't really play that much in the stocks.
You have to understand what's happening with the stock market right now. It's pricing a Trump victory in. The mavens have decided that Kamala is unelectable and the base is not going to show up. This is the catechism right now on Wall Street, and get positioned for a big bump when Trump hits, and when Trump wins the election, he probably will. The people are just going to. It's going to be they're going to expect a big rally and they'll be disappointed. This is what always happens to the retail markets. Why retail investors are always wrong. Retail sentiment, man, that's a measure I keep my eye on, and I do the opposite.
Skep, I don't know if you saw just briefly, but even New York Times, CNN, MSNBC, they've all put out, let's say, very not good coverage of Kamala lately, saying like this policy is going to kill people, like saying this is a stupid policy, and they're turning on her because they realize that they've gotten to that point. I think it's not like the complete tipping point, but they've gotten to the point where they're going,
MSNBC.
Oh shit, we're gonna fuck ourselves over if we keep pushing these lies.
But MSNBC has stayed solid with her, and
Was it
they cut out Trump's presser.
Because I know it was CNN and New York Times.
Yeah, New York Times did editorially. I saw that.
Yeah, where they're this economic practice would destroy the economy, and they're like, yeah, what do you think we've been telling you for 4 years? You. Anyway, I didn't mean to go too far off there because, yeah, I mean, it's a good indication that the country's not going to collapse when the market's doing well, but you still have to consider, the price of just staples, of necessities are still through the roof. The spending is still through the roof. It's the trickle down effect that it's hitting the most the lower rungs the hardest, and when that is the numbers, those are the numbers. The bottom are the numbers. Working class, there's more of them than there are the upper middle class, the millionaires, whatever. So that's what's going to get them votes. People who are looking at their grocery bills and going, I can't sustain this. And that's the majority. That's a lot of people. And I think that's what's going to get them the votes.
Well, that's the only thing that's actually slowing inflation down. The fact that there just isn't more money for people to pay more for things. Now, the excitement about a Trump win really stems primarily from cheaper energy. Almost every industry that does anything of any value uses energy as an input.
And that's why his slogan of drill, baby, drill is so effective, because yes, it's something even the layman can understand. Oh, okay, we're gonna go back and get big into oil again. Good. That means my electricity, my food is gonna come down. And it says to the investors, the higher ups, to go, okay, this is a good message. This is a good thing. It means we're gonna rebound. Confidence gets built.
Well, cheaper energy will bring down the price of pretty much everything.
Everything.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few exceptions, but I mean, it's. If you say, well, why are my groceries so expensive? Well, look at the price of fertilizer, and what drives the price of fertilizer? Energy, because the Haber cycle takes a lot of energy as an input to turn ammonia into fertilizer. It's just a function of energy. Expensive
every
energy.
Step of the way is energy, yes.
So if you look at the problems that happened in the 70s, there was a supply shock to oil, among other things that happened. But the supply shock to oil really caused a lot of the problems and the inflation that we had, because suddenly energy went from being cheap and abundant to being something that was really relatively expensive. And that affected every
scarce resource.
Yeah, it affected every single thing, because goods have to be transported, they have to be made, people have to get in their car and go to work, all these things. I don't mean to belabor the point, but anybody who goes in and deliberately their goal is to just make energy really expensive so you'll want to decarbonize, you are putting your thumb on a scale that you just don't fully understand what the invisible hand is going to do to you.
Yeah.
These people were a bunch of naive idiots.
There's another hand coming, and it's
we're going to have a soft landing. Yeah, soft landing. Anyway, now I'm getting bitter. Okay, let's talk about something else. Oh, we could have a palate cleanser.
Please.
That would be fun.
Always.
Let's see. Oh, okay, here's a police boat. Well, let's just see what happens to the police boat. A tale of a fateful trip that started from this tropic.
Oh, fuck.
Let's do that again.
Oh, no.
What the?
That amuses me so much.
You know what that is?
Poor little fairy.
It's a fairy line.
Oh, my God. Yeah, that's just the center of mass was too far astern. That's what happened. As soon as he went up and the stern went down, and it got the weight reversed like that. Yeah, he just went over. I've never seen a capsize like that, though. I've never seen a front to back.
That was pretty special. I don't know, a motorcycle, I know exactly how to do that. But on a boat?
It supposedly happened to a German destroyer in World War II. Yeah. But that was a huge wave that they just miscalculated.
Okay, this just in. Gamer Valine sent me an article. I haven't had time to look at it yet. I'm not a subscriber, but we can just go by the subject. The rich can't sell their art, so they're using it as collateral for cash loans. Yeah. I've got some Hunter Biden paintings that I paid a lot of money for. I'm going to use those as collateral.
Absolutely.
Those are the best ones.
Yep. I think that because here's how this would go. You would use that as collateral. Then they would come after you and say, give us the collateral. They would say, we've looked at the collateral and we think you knew this wasn't worth what it was and failed to disclose that. And that's the charge they will get them on.
Yeah, that's actually doing what they accused Trump of doing with his property.
Right, exactly.
Because we all know that Mar-a-Lago is only worth, what, $12 million?
Well, $5 million tops.
Yeah,
maybe 100,000. Put it on a credit card.
I'll give you tree fitty.
Tree fitty.
Tree fitty.
I gotta say, I really like that boat thing. Let me watch that one more time.
Let's do it one more time.
It's the music helps. That's why.
Tale of a fateful trip that started from this tropic
That is beautiful.
Is that the Gilligan's Island theme song?
Yeah, that's the Gilligan's Island theme song.
Can we get one more time in slow-mo?
I didn't see what was happening here. No, that's a line ferry.
Yeah.
And he just hits the line, and that's what
catching the cabin.
I didn't see that.
There we go.
No,
here's your slow motion.
I got it.
As requested.
Catching the cabin.
Yeah, I got it.
There's nothing to see here. Everything's fine.
Singing along.
Wait a second. Wait.
Wait.
No.
Whoa.
Yeah, it went through the window too.
Yeah. Just need a trim. Just take a little off the top.
Man.
That's beautiful. I love that.
Yeah, let me tell you how dangerous that is too. If he'd snapped that line, that thing, the speed that a snapped steel line under tension when they part, it's faster than a round coming out of a Desert Eagle.
Yeah, this is fine.
Yeah, it's dangerous as hell. Man,
if it hit the boat, it'd be like a small torpedo hitting that boat.
Well, the thing is, you actually see this. This happens occasionally. It's happened right in front of me, and you see armor plate that is cut like butter.
Yeah,
not kidding. Not cut, but you say, how can a steel cable cut like? It has to be going very fast, and it can cut anything.
Well, speaking of cutting metal,
yes,
look at this beautiful.
Come on.
Look at this beautiful.
Hold on, Serenity. Yes, come on, get over here.
Yeah, get in here.
Do it.
You'll be fine.
Serenity.
Come on. So this is called The Most Hated Man in Wichita, and I just hadn't had time to get to it earlier. So did we talk about somebody stealing Jackie Robinson's statue?
No, I didn't hear about that.
Jesus.
What happened?
So in Wichita, some asshole did $75,000 worth of damage by basically sawing Jackie Robinson's statue off at the feet, as featured here in this picture. This is how you make a town hate you. Because everybody loves Jackie Robinson. I mean, maybe not quite as much as Willie Mays, but I mean, we're talking about a pretty beloved figure.
Yeah.
And to go and just go, yeah, I think I'll just steal this. This is how to piss people off.
Do irreparable damage to a piece of art.
So it says on Monday, January 29th, the Wichita Police Department announced that investigators were able to find and recover the truck involved in the theft of the statue. On the morning of Tuesday, January 3rd, the statue was found dismantled and burned at local Garvey Park.
Jesus Christ.
Fuck you, man.
Yeah. Al Durrett was arrested and made his first appearance on Tuesday, February 13th. He was charged with felony theft, aggravated criminal damage to property, making false information, and identity theft. The police said the theft was motivated by the financial gain of scrapping common metal.
What is this festering lump of dog meat's name?
How
do you spell his last name?
Alduret.
Yeah, Aldurit.
I think I might have a picture of him here. Okay, yes, a Kansas man sentenced to prison for stealing bronze Jackie Robinson statue. So this is the follow-up from August 3rd.
Bronze or copper you could steal of anything that you could do that'll be kind of low-key and you'll get away. Oh, Serenity's here.
Oh, there we go.
Ricky
Idly ho.
Hello.
We're just talking about the most hated man in Wichita.
As he deserves to be.
Yeah.
Garbage.
So he was sentenced to 15 years in prison.
Good.
Why would J.D. Vance do this?
There you go.
A judge sentenced Ricky Alduret Friday on 3 different cases that he said in court stemmed from his addiction to fentanyl. I know. Go figure.
How long was he sentenced to? Seriously?
15 years.
15 years, and ordered to pay $41,500 in restitution.
What state?
Wichita.
Well, Kansas.
Oh, Kansas.
Yeah.
That's lenient. They'll let him out in about 2.
And well, also the beginning of the article states that most
He'll
of
do
that's
2
due to
years.
his burglary, not the statue.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
previous burglary thingy.
Well, he's just a giant piece of shit, and Wichita is better with him behind bars.
Well, I mean, it's Wichita. Like, do you think Pretty Boy is going to get out of there without getting screwed up? Out of the prison, I mean? They're going to mess him up.
Right to jail.
Right to
You're
jail.
playing music too loud, right to jail. Right away. You're
Yeah.
driving too fast, jail.
He's
So,
rough.
jail. You're
Looking
charging
guy.
too high prices for
Apparently
sweaters.
very popular in
Jail.
Texas.
You right to jail. You undercook fish, believe it or not.
You
jail.
undercook fish.
You undercook fish. You go to jail.
He already
Start
has
the jail.
the neck tattoo. He'll fit right in.
Yeah. Good riddance.
Breathe, and I don't like it.
Scum.
Straight to jail.
Hi, Serenity.
Hi.
I love
I'm glad you were able to make it.
I can't sleep because my nose just keeps draining. So
Oh,
here we are.
again, relatable.
Let us knock you out.
You sick people.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I don't know how Harry and Geodes got me sick from all the way over there, but that's how they managed.
Yeah. I blame
I
Geodes.
made fun.
Yeah.
I made fun of Geo's getting Harry's illness, and then I got food poisoning. So I think that was karmic bad luck.
They have viruses in computers now.
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
Karma's a hateful bitch.
So, since I have both of you, Serenity and Sora, I can do the
God.
following.
Oh Jesus.
Okay. New calculations uncover a vast ocean beneath
Yes!
Pluto's ice.
Yay!
Feeling good now?
This is so cool.
Still not a planet.
Graduate student Alex Wynn calculated the depth and density of the solar system's most mysterious and remote body of water. The thing is that there's signs of action going on underneath the surface. And because the surface isn't fractured, damaged in ways that would indicate that it's thin, they think there's a relatively thick mantle of methane ice.
It's not like Enceladus.
And what's underneath it has to have a certain density to support that crust.
Right.
And so they've calculated it, and they think the most likely thing is that it's actually brackish H2O. That it's actually very salty water, sort of a little more saline than the Great Salt Lake. So aren't you happy Pluto has an ocean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
It's salt water.
It's gonna be a good. It's like you can take the baths on Pluto. You know.
Yeah, we
Well,
can
you
send
can
Otter
water the
841 to
horses out
Pluto.
there. You know, after a long day of riding, you finally get
yeah.
to Pluto. You water your horse.
Well, there was speculation for the longest time that it had water under like a crust. Because I remember a few years ago that was the hypothesis that there was. They just
Well,
didn't
they
have
said
the
it could be, but
Yeah.
now he's used the mathematical models from the photographs to like say, yeah, there's actually a really good chance that this is just really heavily salted water.
Yeah.
Well, what it means is that the observations and the theory are consistent with each other. That isn't to say that that's actually what's there.
Yeah.
It just means that here's a
There's
hypothesis, and the hypothesis matches the evidence.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which is what we could go with.
Yeah, considering we last were there in 2015, and it's not like we have a lot lot of opportunity to observe. We're just doing the best we can. Dumb,
This is how long
stupid
it's
apes that
taken
we
to
are.
parse that.
Yeah.
This is it's taken that long to parse the data. So like,
It's also just the fact that like the only time we can do it is when a satellite is flying out of our system because we can't control where it goes anymore, so we have to wait for a drive-by. It kind of makes it difficult. Oh, look at that! It says believed to be an impossibility due to dwarf planet.
Dwarf planet.
Still planet.
Not
Still
regular
planet. Still planet.
Not regular.
Still planet.
No.
Not normal.
Just like a dwarf person is still a person.
That's like saying a fun size Snickers is the same as a Snickers.
It is. It's just smaller.
Fun size.
Still smaller.
Fun size. It's still fun size planet.
Maybe there could be a branding opportunity with the new Snow White movie. Just throwing that out there.
It's still it's a very kind of cool thing. It does make it kind of wonder of like, is it because it's brackish, but if the planet's really cold, so is it the big white heart spot that's the water, or is it the big dark?
No, it's underneath.
no,
it's underneath. That's all
underneath.
methane ice.
Okay, see that's the thing that makes it interesting.
But they found water that seems to be spurting up. It's not really volcanism, but it's that there is some action going on beneath the crust, and there is evidence of the water geysering. Thank you. Up. So to explain all the things, it looks like you might be surfing on Pluto someday. It's going to be dark though. Maybe there'll be an oarfish there. Anyway,
what if they have lights?
Yeah, headlights.
Yeah, they could have lights.
Like a lanternfish.
Like a lanternfish. Yeah.
And just get you.
Anyway, I've been saving this because I wouldn't do a Pluto story without both of you here. So okay, we can click that off the list. Yeah.
You know, I hate that Pluto's not a planet. I really do. I even have T-shirts that lament it publicly.
Hey man,
it's
my kawaii Pluto picture is like it's a Pluto.
The problem is its orbit. The problem is that it's sharing an orbit with Neptune.
Bingo.
And it's like if you're not a planet, one of the things a planet has to be able to do is basically control its own orbit. Like anything that's smaller than it, it's supposed to just, eject it or absorb it or something. But you're supposed to just manage your own orbit, and it doesn't, because Neptune will kick its ass if anything ever comes into contact.
But
or capture
sharing
and
is
tear it
caring,
apart.
though.
Yeah.
Sharing is caring.
Yeah. It's like a joint custody thing of the orbit. Is that what you're saying? Yeah.
Yeah, but in another 30 billion years, it will crash. By then, it'll have crashed in, and there'll be some level of panspermia, and life will evolve. And
who knows? It may kickstart the planet going thermonuclear and dying.
Gosh, I remember reading pulp science fiction when I was a kid about things like Pluto. You'd always have this, journey to the 9th planet, and they would tell all these fantastical.
What was the thing? Half around Pluto.
I don't remember, but it was always the stuff from before the moon landing. Where you'd have the thing that looks like a rocket just sort of landing on its base. Oh, that's crazy talk. Well, good job, Elon.
But it
was a thing of imagination. Pluto was fun. It was a fun thing to think about.
Well, the big 3 planets that they always had everybody land on, other than the moon, because the moon's not a planet, but was Neptune, Pluto, and Mars. Those were kind of the big ones. I remember there was one story where it was Saturn, but most of the Pulp Fiction ones, that was the big 3 planets: Mars, Neptune, and Pluto. I guess because Neptune and Pluto were so far away, and they were kind of and
Neptune's made of gas, and it's too big.
But I'm talking about back when Pulp Fiction, when they weren't really sure it was made of gas, during the 40s and stuff like that, when they were.
Oh yeah, I remember all that schlock. Did you guys have the Scholastic Book Club?
Yes, I was in. Yes.
So I remember that in kindergarten, first grade. You could get Dynamite magazine with the Bionic Woman and Steve Majors on the front of it and all that sort of stuff. And I remember buying some shitty thing about asteroid mining with space spiders and jetpacks and stuff. It was terrible, but I still remember that was the thing I got through the Scholastic Book Club. You just imagine you're flying around in space and you just kind of push the canopy up and then you just fly around with your little jetpack and mine asteroids. It's like the that show you like, Functional.
I don't know what you're talking about.
What's that show you like that you? Oh, The Expanse.
Yeah.
Star Trek.
No, Expanse. The Expanse Functional. That's what he's talking about.
The thing about
I know I'm being
the cool thing about The Expanse, the part that's really science fiction is you can actually do stuff as soon as you have a drive that you can just accelerate. If you could accelerate at 1G to Mars, and halfway through you just apply that same deceleration so that you're not moving when you get to Mars. It only takes a couple weeks to get to Mars if you can burn a 1G acceleration constantly.
Yeah, you just have to have the power.
Right now, we're just stumbling around in the dark. You know, we get things up to a certain point and then do a few gravity slingshots, and it takes us 2 years to get to Mars. But we're really only a few technical breakthroughs away from Mars being 2 weeks away. It could happen.
Exactly right. It's going to be this rotary engine, I think.
The one that's powered by water.
Right.
Yeah, that. I'm looking forward to that. But no, I mean,
I'm looking for the beginning of FTL. That's all I'm looking for. I'm not saying we have
water-powered freaking engines.
But even like a fusion drive would just change everything.
Yeah.
100 years from now, they're going to laugh at how we did all this stuff.
Well, I mean, that's what we.
No, you know, they're going to be horrified that we even tried. They're going to say, "Wait, they did what to get to the moon?"
They were going to send people to Mars and have it take 2 years and then just leave them there to die. Are you kidding me?
Exactly, horrified. I always thought that was horrible. I was fascinated at one point just to read the bios of the people who had signed up to be in that. What was it first?
The first one, yeah.
Colony. What was it called?
Oh God.
The rock. It was a.
What are we doing?
Checking the first colony name.
Of what?
Well, no. What was the program that they were going to put a bunch of people, and people were signing up to be on this thing? It was a European. It was a European effort.
It was Black Hammer City. Just kidding.
Mars One.
Mars One. That's it. That was it. Mars One. Thank you.
That's what the Google said. That's all I went after.
I appreciate that.
No, a little misguided, prolonged suicide mission.
All right. So we've gone a little off course here. it's okay.
I apologize for that.
No, you're fine.
Well, I mean, the scientific data that we could learn from an expedition like that would be pretty cool, but like, you're still just sending people to die.
I mean, but it's one of those things. It's like
I volunteer.
Well, I mean, that's kind of the thing of like, if you give people, it's like any kind of form of like, if you give people
informed consent,
and it's like they make that choice and they understand what it entails. It's like, you're most likely not coming back. There's a small, tiny little dinky one, like we come up with of some kind of drive, but you're out there on your own. I know there's sciencey people and daredevils who'd be like, "F yeah, man, I'll still do it."
Yeah. Like most things, as long as there's informed consent, I don't have a problem with it.
Well, I'll tell you an interesting thing. You guys, all of you guys, may not be thinking about. Older people might be interested in this too. We don't have that much longer left, and we might have a longer on a planet with a little less gravity.
Well, I mean, it makes sense. It's once again that whole fact. I think a good mixture crew would be best to have older and maybe younger, maybe some people who have like diseases that like arthritis that makes it harder.
As many transsexuals as cis. That's the only thing. 50%, and 50% of them have to be enormous black lesbians.
We'll just do it like Noah's Ark. Skep, and we'll just have 2 of every gender, 2 of every. Exactly.
How will the 2 black lesbians, the 2 enormous black lesbians, reproduce?
Well, they'll just beat the shit.
Oh, the Force. I forgot about that. Oh yeah, the Force.
Lisa, I'm bored.
All right. Move on.
Jesus
we're
Christ.
up your
Okay. Crypto miners allegedly made $100,000 from mining at an Airbnb for 3 weeks. Guests ran up a $1,500 electricity bill.
That sounds about right.
It sounds about right, but it's like I think every week somebody comes up with a new way to make Airbnb terrible, and then they have to add another list. They're going to have like 80, 90 pages of stuff that you have to sign to rent an Airbnb soon. Because everybody just constantly ruins everything. Yeah, I'm just going to move into some Airbnb for 3 weeks and just grind on crypto.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, that was kind of being done to begin with in a tangential way, where like you had people, mostly men, selling their lifestyle of, look how rich I am, look how big my house is, like just renting the houses out and renting the really expensive cars, and then just doing video, and then the next time they would do it at an Airbnb, they'd do it for 2 days, and they would claim, oh, this is my other house. And so this is just a new version of that, basically. It's like, oh, it's not our electricity bill, fuck you.
Yeah.
I'm amazed it was only $1,500 though. That, considering how bad crypto mining the systems are at electricity usage, I'm amazed it's only $1,500.
Well, yes and no. There's a bunch of stuff that's been happening in the GPU world because as the number of things that could be harvested or farmed got to be smaller and smaller, and the cost of energy went up, the GPU cards that people were just gobbling up to do these calculations suddenly didn't make a whole lot of sense. And there's other issues going on with data centers and businesses having to be more green with stuff. You can get, I think, what's it, an A2000 single slot thing for not that much money, and it's got a total power usage of around 55 watts. It basically gets powered off a PCI 4 bus. You're starting to see a lot more stuff that allows you to do somewhat serious GPU stuff, but without the insane roastification of the box that you put it in. Because if you look at like an A40 or like an A1000 or a bunch of the newer ones, you're getting up to like 800 watts on some of those things. That's like a ton of power. But if you can do crypto stuff with newer generations of things where the power makes more sense, just the economics of it have just changed. That's all I'm clumsily saying.
Used one for around $620.
A used what?
A2000.
Yeah. And there's a new version of it, like I said, that's got an even lower output. You can do a lot of crypto stuff now without using a ton of power. These people are very good at the thing. But you were talking about mostly men doing these things and then bragging about their lifestyle.
No, the masculinity sales grifters.
Yeah,
that's what I was talking about.
Well, yeah, because you're selling a fantasy. You're selling a fantasy to men that they're going to be rich and famous and have women in bikinis with them on boats. That's the whole thing.
It's like the trad wife BS of how they portray it, not how it actually is. Like it's the same thing, different day.
Most successful sales is selling a fantasy of one form or another.
Oh yeah.
You know, if you just get this really good fountain pen, people are going to notice. They're going to notice, and they're going to start talking about. That's the kind of guy that has that kind of fountain pen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Even the most mundane thing is usually selling some kind of fantasy.
Well, it's like you can always tell the really good. My grandfather always used to say, he's like, you want to talk to the people who don't brag about the thing they like to collect.
Yeah.
Not the people who brag about it. Not the people who like. He always used the watch collectors as an example. He's like, if they constantly do the flick their arm out and shake their wrist to look at their watch, he's like, don't ever listen to anything they have to say because they care about the image of it, not the actual collection.
Well, Warren Buffett's still using a flip phone.
I mean,
I know, extreme example.
The way most people are going. Well, he also still uses McDonald's coupons, I think someone said once, but it's like, it's like I've heard more than once from more than one person, I'm too poor to buy cheap shit. So that's the way I live my life. It's like, I'm not buying cheap shit for it to break.
Okay. Well, okay. So speaking of people flashing money around, another great segue from me. See how much better I'm feeling? There's a thing going on in Central California now on the coast, Car Week. Now, Car Week is a huge thing that's going on, and it's centered around the Monterey Peninsula. Mm-hmm. Now, this was on one of the channels locally. So 9 supercars stopped on Highway 1. They're basically getting a ticket. So imagine you're the highway patrol officer and you pull over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 supercars so you can give them all tickets. Because these people show up for Car Week and drive, many of them, hashtag not all, like the complete assholes you would imagine that they would be.
Nice Lambo, Porsche, Porsche. That was a Mustang.
That is a good day. Yeah. That is a good day when you get to pull all of these guys over
was that a Shelby?
Once.
That might have been the new Shelby that they did not too long ago, I think.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that is. It's it's a crazy supercar thing.
Well, most of those are Lambos. Like, I would expect it a Ferrari, because Ferrari guys are usually the ones who drive like douchebags. But
yeah, but honestly,
if you own a car like a Citroen SM, you're going to drive like a douchebag.
But
if you don't, you voice.
But Car Week is not just about supercars.
Oh,
it's about vintage cars. It's about everything else. Awesome. So, like for instance, here's like the interactive map. So it starts on August 9th. It goes through the 18th. Okay,
and they go down to Laguna Seca.
Yeah, they go to Laguna Seca. There's tons of stuff. So essentially, starting on the 9th, all the way through, for like 8 days. They have 73 events planned around the area. So there's a huge thing with a bunch of supercars going on at Quail Lodge and
Cars and Cocktails those are always ones that
Carmel Valley was the Quail Lodge thing. And then there's just all this stuff going there, and it sort of ends with the Concours d'Elegance, which is ridiculously expensive cars in Pebble Beach. But there's also like street things that you can do. And totally free events, so you don't have to show up and spend a ton of money. And there's classic racing that goes on. They have a lot of old classic cars, and they sort of race. It's like a friendly race at Laguna Seca. So during this particular time, not only are there douchebags here, but you just know that Adam Carolla and Jay Leno and all of those people are going to just be at Laguna Seca. Now, I've got some friends who do this kind of stuff, okay, who are really big into cars, and they've met Jay Leno and a lot of these other guys, and everybody who I've talked to who's met him said he's just the nicest guy. You know, he shows up, he takes interest, everybody treats him like a regular guy, and he treats everybody else kind of equally. He is not a giant douche canoe. He's a good dude.
That's everything I've heard. It backs that up too.
And a lot of those guys who you would think would be just terrible, when you're just in the pits looking at cars in the races at Laguna Seca, it's a great time. I mean, if you're even remotely interested in cars, a year from now, you should definitely head to Monterey and just enjoy all of this.
The only reason why I'd come to California are two reasons. One, to pick on you just randomly and show up on your doorstep. Or two, go to the car thing, because I've seen videos from the auctions on Pebble Beach when they're doing the big auctions.
Yeah.
And they're awesome, because some of these cars are like classic, like 1955. I saw a fully restored Studebaker in one video, which was awesome. Like the way a Studebaker's supposed to look, not like a piece of crap like they do in movies. A lot of this stuff, like there's two groups. There's the actual car people who are like Jay Leno and Adam Carolla, like actual legit car guys.
For example, yeah.
And then there are the ones who have or want to give the appearance of stupid money, and there's women who do this too. So I'm not picking on men. Yeah, and they buy like you see a lot of the Saudis do it. They'll buy like a Bugatti, and it's like
right.
It's like, okay, we get it. You have F-it money, or let me rephrase. Your daddy has F-it money. Right. Bugattis don't mean anything anymore as much as they used to, except to people who are trying to kiss your butt. Like, give me an Alfa Romeo. Give me a Bugatti supercar from the 90s. Like, those are amazing Bugatti. Like, those are amazing looking cars. Like, give me the old school
Bugatti
Ferrari.
got too safe and too luxurious, in my opinion.
It played to the Saudis too much, which is most of them can't drive if you've watched any of them try to drive.
But look at these classics.
I know they're awesome. Like,
man,
like those are the older racing cars and stuff like that. Like, I know that this was like 15 years ago, but there was someone who had built a car from the ground up that was a mixture of Charger, Mustang, and the GTO.
Mm-hmm.
And it was an amazing looking car, and it was the only one in the world because he built it.
Car.
Yeah, and it looked beautiful. It looked so good, and it was just
look at that Citroen. That's a Citroen SM right there.
There you go.
Oh look, a Lamborghini. Shocker.
Yeah, sponsored by Skull Bandits. Classy.
Oh boy. Hello, Cadillac. That's a Cadillac right there. That green.
I like that bumper sticker. President Nixon now more than ever. Okay.
Oh, I've seen. Oh yeah, those have been showing up everywhere.
How do you like that spare arrangement on that Cadillac?
I love that.
Looks like a roulette wheel. You could just grift people as you drive along. Just pull over. And...
But it's like there are 3 cars that are at every car event. There are too many of. Oh, hello, little tiny fella. Hello.
Yeah.
Look, it's so cute.
Sora
the
wants
caddy-
a bugbear.
The caddy also says just married on it.
Oh.
If you scroll back up in the window, it says just married. But there's
Oh yeah.
there's two
Giggity.
like I love the Porsche 911 from the 90s and early 2000s. I love that car. There are too many of them at car shows.
This is Car and Drivers coverage.
Wait,
by the way.
which Porsche do you like?
Okay,
the Carrera.
I'm talking about the GTT, the one the not the GTT, the one from I gotta look it up because I can't remember what the letters was. The one I actually
Boxster or the
I think it's the Boxster, but it's like the ones I actually like are the ones from the 80s, the 944s.
Yeah, that's my favorite of all time is the 944
because they were actually interesting.
They're big fun.
Because they were actually interesting to look at, but the ones there's too many Lamborghinis.
Oh.
There's too many Porsches. And there's too many Beamers. I'm just like, can you show me something original, guys? Like the Citroens or the Alfa Romeos or like a classic Ferrari or a Taro or like something or like an actual like old Aston Martin. Old Aston Martin's freaking awesome.
They also do debuts of some of the new supercars and stuff. So it's a big enough thing that you come to this thing and they will debut supercars. That's I don't know. Let's see. How is chat doing? Are they ready to rebel? Are we losing everybody? Are you guys still with me?
Looks like we've had a couple of suicides.
Okay.
Gamer Valine's talking about the cat is yelling at my GPU or something like that. I don't know
Okay, all I'm saying is, oh look at that. Oh my God. All I'm saying is that if you're interested in cars and stuff, you need to just do the damn pilgrimage and go to Central California. And go to Monterey Fish House and get used to waiting like 4 hours to get a seat.
Oh yeah, you're not getting anywhere.
Yeah, you're going nowhere.
Oh God, that's an old. Oh, hello, pretty.
Yeah.
Hello. I love
it's a good time.
The ones that are backed by the Christie auctions are always the best ones.
Oh, I know where that is.
Well, I wanted to.
I like turtles.
I like turtles.
Hey,
I love
that's
cars.
awesome.
I love cars.
I know nothing about cars.
So
they look cool.
Let's see, Central California news.
Are they pretty color? That's my expense.
Now, Carmel is, wrapped up in all this too, and I wanted to just mention that Clint Eastwood is actually selling one of his mansions that he has there. He has a big one in Carmel Valley, and it's $21 million for Clint Eastwood's former Carmel mansion. And this may seem like a lot of money, but considering what the zip code is for this place, that's actually not bad at all.
Carmel Valley is one of the most exclusive.
Well, this is Carmel, and you can see the beach.
Yes, that's Carmel. The valley is just east of there.
But how much like land does it have? Because it doesn't look like it has a lot of land.
It's it's got a 4,500 square foot home with four bedrooms, 4.5 bathrooms, vaulted ceilings, temperature controlled wine room, and decks that overlook the Pacific. Gated 1,100 square foot lot. Boasts an interior courtyard and a walkway to the beach. This is a pretty damn nice house. I still like the one at Big Sur a little more, but this is actually pretty darn nice.
It's that big of a house, and it's not even it's a little over a quarter of an acre. Like,
but it's in like a magical place. It's all about the location.
I thought it was in Carmel Valley. That's not Carmel Valley.
No, he has a house in Carmel Valley. He has other houses. He has a number of properties, but this is
his place.
This is his downtown Carmel place that he's selling.
Okay, that is an amazing place. I'm looking at a picture of it that shows it where it is in relation to the bay. Oh my God, yeah, 21 million. That's a deal. That's a steal.
Yeah, you still have to live in California.
Yeah. If you've got enough money to buy this house, California is not going to be a problem for you.
You're not going to pay me enough money to move down there.
Carmel is kind of a...
I'm a snow chimp. I'm a snow chimp. Living near, that close to the equator would kill me.
Okay, functional.
I'm two steps away from being a vampire.
No, that's Northern California, bud. That's Northern California. That's not, or not northern.
Well, this is central.
Do you remember where I live?
Okay.
It's about as south as I'm gonna get.
So let me give you a weird little thing about Carmel, so you can get a
practically
you can do a
White
vibe
Walker.
check, okay, as the kids would say.
Vibe
so here's your
check.
Carmel vibe check. Carmel moves toward adding numbered addresses to village homes and businesses. They don't have addresses.
I know they don't.
Oh,
It's
amazing.
so stupid. It's so
It's
stupid, but it's
Carmel
awesome.
Village. You
So,
just
like,
say the
how do you
Smiths
mail
in
stuff?
Carmel Village on so and so street, and
They
the
all.
mail
I think
gets
it's.
there.
I think it's like kind of like British houses, like old British houses where they have names.
Yeah. Okay. When asked for their address, residents describe their home's color or style, nearby landmarks like cypress trees and fire hydrants, or their location relative to the nearest cross street. Many houses have signs with whimsical names like Neverland, Dreamcatcher, and Pinch Me, or descriptors such as San Antonio 3 southeast of 9th.
Yeah. It's very.
I hate this place.
I know.
I mean, I
very-
want to go there. It's beautiful, but I hate them at the same time.
It's very British. It's very kind of British in the fact
Man,
that they have the
if
names.
you met
You
the
can have
people
a
there,
a house
If
called
you-
Pinch Me and still have 1280 Apricot Lane, care of Pinch Me House.
But you have to remember the pretension. Sora,
Yeah.
the pretension.
I know.
Yeah. They decided in 1916 this is how they were going to do things, and they haven't changed it.
there are significant number of donuts in Carmel, and it's kind of like being around Boulder, Colorado. A lot of donuts up there. These are people who have never worked a day in their life, never will, and because they have inherited every penny that they have, and they just spend money on themselves, and they're still bored and miserable. That's the fun thing about being a donut. They're never happy. They're never happy.
I was so confused what you meant by donut for the like.
Empty
I
calories.
was like, what the fudge were you talking about?
You know,
no,
there are two cities
Trust bunnies. They're
there are
all
two cities in California that I cannot navigate in. I'm like a homing pigeon. I've got like the magnetic boogers in my nose, and I can pretty much navigate flawlessly anywhere I go except for two cities. One of them is Carmel, and I don't know why. I always try to get lost in Carmel. The only thing that saves me is that up takes you to Highway 1 and down takes you to the ocean.
I was just going to say.
That's
it's
the
not
only
hard
thing
to-
that saves me in freaking Carmel. I hate navigating that town. The other one is weirdly Davis, California. It's like
Davis.
so big and flat and weird. It's like it's almost on like a farm grid, except
It's
when
a
it's not.
sprawl.
Except
It's a
when it's
sprawl.
not. Like there's just some big perimeter road that just loops around, and it's like I cannot. I get lost in both of these cities.
So
UC
don't
Davis,
ever.
UC
don't ever-
Davis was a customer of mine, Harry.
Yeah,
and then don't ever go to Louisville,
Louisville.
Harry.
Oh.
Don't ever go to Louisville. It's the exact same way.
Yeah.
There's two big circle roads, and then everything's on a grid.
Well, I don't know what it is about. Maybe just the magnetic boogers in my nose don't work properly in Davis and Carmel.
Well, the river also wraps around Louisville, so the
I
river's
was
going
going
to
to
throw
say
you off.
the river is what messed me up. I had a long consulting stretch in Louisville too, and the river, I learned to use it by the time I was just wrapping up there. I had figured out how to navigate, but I actually found Louisville kind of hard to navigate.
Louisville-
And
if
I
you-
usually do pretty well.
Well, because I grew up in West Virginia and we're very similar. Louisville was very easy for me to figure out because I'm in the southern half where the Ohio River is. So I'm used to the Ohio River on this side, and we do the same shit. So
Okay.
it's like for me, it was
Same
like
psychology.
it's like, oh look, my hillbilly people. Here we go.
The hillbilly way.
Yep.
The old ways are the best ways.
Down in the holler.
The hillbilly way is to be doing it. So this way you have the train barons who make the streets and the avenues, but then the big highways are done by the river people, and the highways are what fuck everybody up. Because the river people are the ones who don't know how to do anything in a straight line.
Okay, I'm starting to think about Petticoat Junction. It's very distracting. Okay, so let's stop doing this. Okay, apologize. So I wanted to talk about that. Now, let's see. Shall I complain about something?
I hate that I'm Uncle Joe now.
Yeah.
Sorry. Anyway, go ahead.
Moving kind of slow at the junction.
Yeah, that's just what I was saying.
Yeah.
Moving kind of slow at the junction.
Okay, so Python is a programming language.
Yes, it is.
And not that many years ago, they came up with one of these boards, when everything got super woke and annoying, where they have like a committee that handles code of conduct type stuff. And recently, These idiots took one of the core developers, somebody who had been on the board of directors for 13 years, had decades of contribution in terms of libraries and modules, and just, I mean, has been recognized as one of the most important developers in the Python community. And they put him on a 3-month suspension because of code of conduct. Now, the term slut, as in slut walk, you know, some people view it as empowerment. There was a package called slut because in a particular language that wasn't English, that was just what it got named. And some people found it offensive. He didn't use the word slut. He referred to an old Saturday Night Live sketch, you know, where Dan Aykroyd says, "Jane, you ignorant slut." He didn't use the word. He just said, back when Saturday Night Live was funny, this word was used. The word that we're talking about was one that was used in this sketch.
He referred to the word?
He referred to the sketch that contained the word.
No.
That was his first indiscretion. Okay.
Oh, did they have psychiatrists?
They claimed that he espoused a viewpoint where he was saying that reverse discrimination was a thing that could happen. But he claims he never did, and nobody can actually cite where this claim came from, but they just figured they'd throw that on because that way they could say he was a racist. And the code of conduct assholes, the final thing was there was going to be a rule change. It turned out that somebody who was in one of the higher positions in the organization, if you were going to cite them with a code of conduct violation, there was supposed to be people at that level, there was supposed to be a vote of the general community to see if that person was going to be kicked out. And the rule change they wanted to make was, no, the board of directors can just do this if the code of conduct people basically say, yeah, this person is guilty of wrongthink or wrongdo. We'll just kick him out. Well, in this discussion thread where they were discussing the potential rule change, he had the audacity to make almost 50 posts talking about how he was not in favor of the change. And because he posted so many times on this very important topic, they claimed that he was guilty of generating fear, uncertainty, and doubt in the community of Python developers. This is all such a huge load of horse shit that it makes me almost incandescently angry. You know, we talk about people being canceled and wokeness and people are acting, oh, this stuff's almost over. No, this is a thing that just happened. A guy who had decades of contributions has been at least suspended and probably will later be kicked out for no reason whatsoever.
Disgusting.
It's absolutely disgusting.
It's the NASA guy in the hula girl shirt all over again.
Yeah. Well, I think it's even
ridiculous.
less than that. Yeah, they cited objections, including the following. Now, those were the big three reasons. Discussing bans or removals of community members, which may be seen as publishing private information without permission, casually mentioning scenarios involving sexual abuse. They're claiming all this stuff. There's no proof of any of it. Dismissing unacceptable behavior of others as neurodivergent trait, which is problematic because it creates a stereotype that neurodivergent people are hard to interact with and need special treatment. Now, wait a second. Isn't that literally what they asked for? Neurodivergent people saying that they want us all to, that they know they're hard to work with and they want us to make the effort and give them special treatment so that they can make valuable contributions. Isn't that literally what they're asking for? I hate Python for one thing, because any language that uses white space syntactically the way it does, like tabs are important. If you put spaces instead of a tab,
I know
or
tabs.
vice versa, it's like, no, just, I hate Python.
That's like old school. I remember when tabs used to fuck up code.
And the sad thing is that a lot of people, like, if you decide to be a maker and you want to get like a little robot or something with an AI module built onto it, you want to actually code that thing for like AI or machine vision or something. The easiest way to do that is in Python using a lot of the libraries that people like this guy produced. Right, you just basically say Python import module, magic happens. And
yeah, I almost don't think of Python as a language as much as
a framework of libraries. Yeah,
a framework of libraries. Yeah. Exactly. You know. So anyway, it's not a. Anyway,
I just needed to complain because I mean I don't know if anybody has any questions or whatever, but it's just shit like this is still happening. So anybody who thinks that we're done with this is wrong.
No,
this shit has not gone anywhere.
The system is poisoned. It's going to take us some time for it to work out, to normalize, and for people to find a way to compromise and work together.
Yeah, and when they were talking about old Saturday Night Live things that were problematic, my mind went to a particular sketch that does not age particularly well. The fact that it was Jane, you ignorant slut, that was the thing that set them off. It's like, okay, didn't I post something like that in Discord and everybody thought it was funny? Like sometime in the last month or
Probably.
so? Yeah. Dan Aykroyd going off on Jane Curtin, pretending to. It was hilarious.
Am I wrong, Sora?
I did that for so many years. I would answer a question, and I would start out, Jane, you ignorant slut.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, good times. Anyway, all right. I'll try to be less boring. Click that one that says IT Hug Box. Let's see. How much time do we have?
Plenty of time for a hug box.
About 12 minutes? Okay.
Plenty of time.
Well, here's an outrageous thing that's been going on. We've all heard of civil asset forfeiture, right?
Oh, yes.
Indianapolis, there's a FedEx hub there. And what law enforcement does is they like to just wander around the FedEx hub with their dogs and randomly pull packages and see if the dog reacts. Now, we both know it's incredibly easy to get a dog to react.
Mm-hmm.
So Institute for Justice is involved in a big class action suit against them because they're just grabbing packages and civil asset forfeiting them because they're passing through a hub in Indianapolis.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I kind of don't have words to describe what a terrible shakedown this is. And the particular case involved a jewelry store, and they have receipts to show what everything's for. Somebody tried to send a not insignificant amount of money, $42,000. They have all the documentation for what it's for. It's obviously not drug smuggling. But the law enforcement there in Indianapolis were more than happy to take that off their hands.
What?
Yeah. The first plaintiff is a jeweler named Henry Shemp Bin. He says more than $42,000 that was coming to him for jewelry was seized by police, and they say that he has the receipts to prove it. He says he shipped Italian gold to a man identified in the lawsuit as Patrick H. Patrick didn't pay his bill on time, so men told him to pay in cash, but the cash never arrived because it was seized by police while the package was being processed at the FedEx hub in Indianapolis. The Institute lawyers said the prosecutor's office has never been able to tie the money to a crime. They said the reasons they were given for the box being pulled aside included it was new with all the seams sealed with tape. FedEx recommends customers tape all seals. There was no signature required for the parcel. The label on the package allegedly said it needed a signature. The label was paid for by unknown means at a ship center. The label wasn't from a shipping center. So the reasons that they gave are all bullshit. And it's just bullshit all the way across. This whole civil asset forfeiture thing needs to just be done away with. And
there's no general law that bans sending cash through the mail. But if they find a whole bunch of cash going through the mail, you better have a fabulous reason for sending it. And saying, you didn't pay your bill, now you have to pay in cash. No.
You should ask for a money order. That's just dumb.
That doesn't pass the smell test with me. I actually think anybody who's sending that much cash to the mail, they're not naive. If they have that much cash, they're not that naive. Nobody is. Not anymore. Maybe 30 years ago, I would say. Now, no. Too much information exchange. Too many people understand what's going on. You're not going to see that unless something bad is going on or something at least tax avoiding, which I sort of dig.
Well, if you want to avoid taxes, precious metals are a good way to do it. Not giving advice, but there are different reporting requirements when you're dealing with anything made of precious metal, which is also legal currency.
Yep.
Talk to your accountant. Don't blame me if things
we
go
do not
south.
give investment advice on this channel.
Yeah. I mean, I do occasionally disclose that which stocks I think are really good.
We might say we like this, we like that, but we don't recommend that for you.
No.
Every personal financial decision is your decision to make. not ours, and it shouldn't be influenced by anything we say because we are not investment professionals.
Yeah, the thrill of victory or the agony of defeat, it's all on you folks.
Yeah. And I say this as a former member of the registered representatives. I member of the NASD, National Association of Securities
So I have a couple stories I want to try to squeeze in, and we don't have to go super long because I know that a number of people don't feel particularly well. But functional.
I'm feeling much better.
Functional.
I'm not dead yet.
Okay. Speeding space object triggered a warning. It wasn't an asteroid. So
aliens.
Now we do have like some kind of planetary defense network. So it says here the European Space Agency revealed that on January 6th, the automated systems that sleuth the skies for potentially hazardous objects like asteroids sent out a warning. What it looked like was that a 50-meter wide asteroid was hurtling to a location that was going to be between the moon and the Earth. And that is a big thing to be coming more or less straight at us.
Mm-hmm.
The punchline is what they actually detected was an ESA probe that was going to be doing a gravity assist. Now, it had like
than it looks like.
It had this big ass solar panel attached to it. And I think it's like 28 meters long, the solar panels, but they radiate so much light out that the calculations in the early warning network said, hey, this looks like it's probably the amount of light coming off this thing looks like it's probably a 50-meter wide asteroid, and it's coming straight for us.
Yep. That's funny.
When you know, you know.
That must have just been quite a moment.
That must have been quite a moment when the pucker factor when they said, hey, wait a second, there's a thing coming very, very close to the Earth. Well, it has to do the gravity assist.
Yeah.
It has to basically, get fairly close to Earth and use Earth's gravity to accelerate it. And that doesn't work if it doesn't get kind of close.
Yeah.
But it's nice to know that we actually have a planetary defense network and that it actually worked. I figure this is actually kind of good news.
We're able to cover more, but it's still woefully not enough.
Hey, the perfect is the enemy of the good.
I don't think the percentage of the sky that we're able to watch is even broken from digits, has it?
Well, and also this looked like a fairly big object. It's the small stuff that we're not going to see.
And something moving that fast, that relatively large, is going to stand out.
Yeah, it was moving fast by design, and it was coming straight for us. Anyway, I thought that was kind of cool.
But it's funny because it's one space agency going, oh shit, it's coming right for us. Another one going, no, chill, it's just our probe.
Yeah.
Because that's what they do. Like when they see these things, it gets spread around all the different agencies and they share data and stuff like that.
Yep. That's what they do. Let's see. We did the crypto miners. Well, okay, let's talk about this a little bit. So you guys have probably heard that the Ukrainians have boldly went forth into Russian territory and captured a little bit of it.
Yeah.
We were sure the Russian army would protect us. Fury after Ukrainian incursion into Kursk. Yeah, congratulations, you're now in Ukraine. I honestly think, this is just my opinion, that the Ukrainians don't have any particular interest in trying to govern hostile territory surrounded by ethnic Russians. And that this is really just setting things up for some kind of negotiation to end this whole thing. Because
they might be remembering World War II when Stalin sent all the Ukrainians to the front while he was mustering the rest of the Russian regular army.
Well, they destroyed some bridges. They built a buffer because the Russians, as savage as they are sometimes, probably aren't going to bomb their own people. Sure. So this gives them a nice protective reef upon which the waves of conflict can crash. This is a good buffer for them, but more to the point, I think it puts them in a much better position for negotiating. Yes, because what they were talking about was the Russians just giving up Crimea, they'd give up some amount of territory and the Russians would leave them alone. And then nobody was going to be happy with that solution. But when something like this happens, they're in a position to say, yeah, we'll just take our entire country back and you'll just go away and leave us alone.
Right. Or there's going to be more mayhem and you're going to have some very unhappy citizens.
I think that, much like you said, people are factoring in a Trump victory. given what's going on with Biden and a potential Trump victory, because Trump will want to negotiate this thing. Trump will want to just negotiate this thing away and not have it go on and on forever. His attitude toward this is completely different. So if you think that negotiation is going to be forced upon you in a few months, this is exactly what you would do.
No way.
Way? Oh, yeah. Oh, you're quoting the Trump thing. Yeah.
He's just going to call up Vladdy, be like, no way. And Vladdy's going to be...
Serenity.
Okay,
Serenity got kicked out. Can you let her back in?
Of course. Thank you.
Sorry, Serenity.
Sorry, Serenity.
Good
good.
Good call.
So,
welcome back.
I mean,
it's so silly.
I think this is positive because I think instead of it starting World War III, I think what we're really looking at is the beginning of the end. But, I mean, if you have differing opinions, say so.
The second sinking of the Kursk.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know enough.
It's one of those things where it's like, it's going to depend on how sick Putin is, in all seriousness, like how really sick he is, not air quotes sick.
Yeah.
Because because this man has always been about his legacy, which everybody is. Like to get that level of power, I don't give a damn if you're man, woman, what religion you are. It's about your legacy after a certain point. And it's like, so your legacy is not very good because it's kind of like you couldn't take Georgia because you lost Georgia. You barely took Crimea. Belarus is a nanny state, but they're still not technically fully under your control. And then you couldn't even take Ukraine. Like it's going to depend on how sick he is and how much it's hurt his pride. Because that's basically what this is. This was never about the NATO stuff. That was just a bullshit cover done by done for the purpose of making a pathetic excuse to do something that he should have never done in the first place. And he knows he shouldn't have done it in the first place. But he's so terrified of not having that legacy of being, I was a KGB, I'm a badass, I'm a duh. And it's like, and now he's going out with Parkinson's, which is not a fun way to go out. Like Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, all that kind of stuff are not, because you literally just feel yourself wasting away and you can't do anything about it. So it's just going to depend. And it's also going to depend on how many of his people have started to realize he doesn't have as much power as he used to, and how many of them will turn on him, whether directly or indirectly, where they'll just like, oh, I lost your memo, I'm sorry, or they don't pick up the phone. So there's a lot of factors. I do hope this is the end of it, because that part of the world has suffered enough, but it's going to depend on egos. It always does. It's going to depend on egos.
Yeah.
And it's sad, because it's never the people with the egos who suffer the way they need to. It's always the normal people who didn't do anything except be born in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Well, occupying Kursk is not going to be something that I don't think it's something the Ukrainians particularly want to do.
Oh yeah,
it makes a particularly good buffer, but it pins them down.
Yeah,
and that's an ongoing commitment. They're not a huge country, and they've got their hands full just dealing with the Russian aggression. Occupying and managing these areas where the native population is not a fan of yours, it's a lot of work. So I think it's just to get a good advantage in the negotiations that are going to be forced upon them at some point. I think Kamala is more than happy to just keep borrowing money from the Chinese indefinitely. Let's just keep giving him money until it does what it needs to do, and that's just not the way Trump's going to go about it.
There's a lot more factors going on, because it also depends on. It's going to depend on what France does too, because France likes to ingratiate themselves in this stuff when they really shouldn't be. Especially since England's left the EU.
Germany's cut off financial support.
Yeah, and it's that thing of like, now that Macron's not there, because Macron's very similar to Putin in my eyes. All leaders, it takes a certain level of ego to be a world leader of a country. It does, whether people want to admit to it or not. It's going to depend on what the next in power in France does. It's going to depend on a lot of factors. It's going to depend on how badly Iran is actually doing financially too, because there's so many conflicting reports on whether or not they're doing badly financially because of all the stuff that they're funding when it comes to the Gaza stuff. There's a lot of, considering the stupidity of the people here in the States who've pushed the pro-Hamas stuff, and it's now going the way the BLM stuff went, which was, we were okay with you all protesting, but now you're acting like jackasses. So a lot of let me just put this out there. For the people in chat, if you see any fundraiser for anyone who is in Gaza, it is a bullshit fundraiser. They are not real. Most of them are fake, or at least mostly fake. It's literally just to shoot money to Qatar and then from the Qatari banks to Iran. That's all it's for.
Room service is expensive.
Yeah. And to this way Iran can then pay ISIS and everybody else. But it's that kind of stuff. And I've noticed that, at least on social media, when this was all beginning with Gaza and Ukraine, like, it was real easy to get the fundraising money to go. And now, like, these fundraisers can't get money because the watermelon movement, which is really racist when you think about it, isn't going the way it was. And the same thing with Russia and Ukraine. It's just, you have, there's a bunch of weird shit going on behind the scenes, and I have a feeling about it. Xi's not as strong as he likes people to believe. There's a lot of weird stuff going on. I don't think this is going to be the start of World War III. Either of them. I think World War III is going to happen in probably about 2 to 5 years, though, in all seriousness. Because I think when China implodes and China gets desperate to prove power, I think that's when China's going to do it.
China's going to do a Falkland Islands thing is what they're going to do.
Yeah. And then that's going to do things. Where we are as a country is going to have a great big placement on how World War III happens, if it does. But it's just it's a bunch of people trying to get their legacies and cement their legacies, but not realizing that this is not how you cement a legacy. And they don't quite understand. Let's be, the people who still have legacies from major empires falling were not the ones who initiated the legacy. It was the people who fell. Like, people still talk about the Romanovs, and people talk about the Bolsheviks, but nobody talks about who was the head of the Bolshevik movement. People still talk about Franz Ferdinand. Everybody makes jokes about how many times he died. Like, is that a time traveler? Like, so it's one of those things that'll be interesting to see how history paints all this stuff, is what's going to be the interesting part too.
So, you want to see something fun?
Always.
A couple more palate cleansers.
Absolutely.
God damn it.
Don't worry. She'll take care of the new Camaro.
I love the caption. The 1969 Camaro came equipped with reinforced bumpers for female drivers.
His Camaro senses are tingling.
Poor guy.
I would be doing it on purpose.
Relax.
I think
ordered Camaro's new resilient bumper. It's color matched to the car, so you may forget it's there, but it won't forget how to bounce back. No matter how often you bump into
That was when
something
they were
unexpectedly.
advertising the 5-mile-an-hour bumpers.
Yeah.
Remember those?
Yeah, that's great.
5-mile-an-hour bumpers. There was a new requirement then. And that's about when that came out.
And then there was this.
Goes from great balls of fire to small balls of fire, and Char broils his egg roll in the process. Now he's activated fire crunch mode while his chestnuts are roasting on an open fire. Said he could pull off this trick, but his pants are on fire. He's such a liar. All right, now we're getting carried away. Okay, first of all, what the hell is this? It's the kind of entertainment that chefs provide at your local hibachi grill nowadays. Maybe Hibachi Tommy was lucky and trimmed the Amazon.
Yeah.
I
Japanese people hurting their genitals is funny for some reason.
It's a big part of their comedy. It's weird.
Yeah, it's fun.
Here's someone who used to watch Chinese dramas before China turned into big asshole.
Yeah.
It's a big trope in their media. It's weird.
But they're two indispensable two indispensable elements of humor. Things you'll always find. You usually one or the other or both. You'll find something unexpected, or someone's sudden misfortune, which is sort of a special case of something unexpected. Usually an unexpected misfortune, but sometimes it's misfortune. Sometimes it's just we like to laugh at people's misery.
I once sat through this lecture that was just absolutely terrible, and this guy was trying to talk about A Tale of Two Cities and Charles Dickens, and he was saying that the opening of it is humor,
Was the best of times or was the worst of times? Is
we were going like like straight to heaven, and we were going straight the other way. And he was saying that it was derailment of thought. And then he tried to liken it to the humor of Bob Hope. I have never wanted to leave a lecture more, I think, than that was like, no, your thesis is broken. You're broken. This is stupid. Leave me alone. I don't want to hear about how Dickens and Bob Hope are the same thing. I just don't. But you guys remember the bladeless wind turbines?
Yeah.
The one that was called the Skybraider?
The penis.
Yes.
I found their website.
How's that coming?
Oh, they've got a nice website.
Oh boy.
So here's the bladeless wind turbine, and I sort of wondered exactly how it worked.
That just
it goes like this.
Oh no!
There's the Skybraider.
God, it looks like a dildo.
Oh, that's embarrassing.
I'm sorry, I am still such a child. I think the Skybraider is hilarious.
It's hilarious, but I'm still trying to figure out, like, do they actually explain how it works? Like, is it just it moves back and forth from the force of the wind? And
that creates energy. Because clearly, like, blades or wind turbines.
Imagine a whole field of these.
Oh, God, those would be
it's like a Mr. Garrison piece of fiction, A whole field of Skybraiders.
Yeah, it's just like, it's terrifying when you think it's just like...
It can't be much energy because there just isn't enough... There's not enough energy transfer potential.
No, this is solar freaking roadways levels of...
this is solar freaking roadways. That's exactly what this is. Bladeless freaking wind power.
But I can still make fun of it.
I can too.
Because it's hilarious and wrong.
But it looks like a big vibrating
thing.
wiener.
It's like, it's something we do for Mother Nature, for her pleasure. It's fine. It's fine.
It's just, I'm trying to... That's going to screw with so many birds, and not in a good way.
Yeah.
Because it's like, especially if you have, like Sora said, if you have a field of them...
Yeah.
And you have migrating birds, they're going to be so confused.
You don't want to Google screw birds in a good way.
I'm not. No. If Tumblr has taught me anything, no.
Turkey farmers with problems.
Yeah. But it's like, because especially the top of it, because I'm not calling it the TIP word. The top of it, especially if there's a group of them moving, can look like white caps on water. So then they think they're near water. It's like, this could screw with so many animals and not in any way anybody wants to.
I have a feeling they're not going to build very many of these, so I think we'll be fine.
Yeah, I think we'll be okay.
Some money launderer is going to build a bunch of fake ones.
Learning how to write a proposal to get money from the government is a skill.
Do you know that my first ex-wife, that's what she did. She has a master's degree in journalism, and she used that. She got fired from every writing job she ever had. So what did she do? She learned how to write government grant proposals, and that's what she does. She and specializes in sociology research grant proposals. I shit you not.
Yeah, I can't tell this story right now. I'll have to tell it afterwards.
Not right now. Afterwards, yeah.
I can't tell this particular story. You know which one I'm thinking of.
Yes, I do.
Okay. Anyway,
I have not the words.
This has been your Saturday Minions of the Zoo. Thank you, panel. Thank you, chat. We're going to stop now because we're all tired. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.